Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode on Football Talk Podcast. My name is Ozzie, and I'm your host for today's show. Liverpool face Tottenham this weekend in a tough Premier League encounter, mainly because we don't know what Tottenham team will turn up. I'm hoping we're in for an exciting match against, what should I say, between two attacking teams. Both teams have progressed into the semi-finals of the Carabao Cup, as Liverpool defeated Southampton and Tottenham defeated Manchester United in a 4-3 thriller. And to top it off, we've actually been paired against Tottenham in the semi-final. So this will not be the first encounter against Tottenham in the semi-final. Uh, so yeah, but tonight we are focused on the Premier League. So let's discuss the form of both teams in the league. Plus, I'll reveal the team news to see who is available and then present my predicted lineup and also try and break down practically how both teams will set up. Um, so yeah, so let's begin. In terms of recent form, Tottenham in the last 5 games have won 2 games, including a 4-0 victory against Man City, which obviously was a big result at the time, and also a 5-0 win against Southampton last week. The other results include a draw and 2 defeats against Bournemouth and Chelsea, which was another 7-goal thriller there. But despite some good results this season, Spurs have been very inconsistent, and that has cost them as they're now 10th in the league. It wasn't so long ago that they were around the top four. So they will need to develop some level of consistency in order for them to be challenging for a European place. Now, for Liverpool, Liverpool have actually dropped off slightly in terms of the standards that we've set up earlier this season. 3 back-to-back wins against Villa, Southampton, and City, but the last 2 games we've dropped points with 2 draws against Newcastle and Fulham. So Liverpool will need to go back to winning ways as we have Chelsea breathing behind our necks, picking up points on a consistent basis. And as it stands, they're currently 2 points off. So we definitely need to get the wins very soon. So in terms of team news regarding the home team, which is Tottenham, I thought Liverpool had injury problems, but it's not as bad as Tottenham's injury list right now. They have quite a few players out. They've got Davis, Romero, Van der Ven, Vicario, Mickey Moore, who's a young up and coming player, very highly regarded at Tottenham. Oliver, you may remember from Burnley, sorry, very good winger. And you've also got Richarlison, and all of these players are sidelined. Bentancur is currently serving a suspension, so he's not available anytime soon. But Timo Werner could be available after returning from illness. In regards to Liverpool, we're in a better situation, I guess. We've got the return of Chiesa, Jota, Allison, and Elliott back in the squad now. The only casualties, or should I say, players that are sidelined, are Conor Bradley and Konate. But they are rumored to be close to full fitness, so hopefully we'll get them in the coming weeks. Robertson is actually available for this fixture after serving his suspension in the Carabao Cup. Simicast also made his return against Southampton midweek, so he could be in line to feature in this game. Now, what we'll do, we'll switch over and predict the lineups. So we'll start with the home team. Here we go. So I was watching the highlights of Tottenham versus Manchester United, and one of the positives or one of the things that I took very kindly to in terms of the team that we're facing is their goalkeeper. Forster normally ends up becoming like a prime Buffon when he plays against Liverpool, but the way he was producing error after error in that game, it gives me a bit of hope that he'll continue that awful form into this fixture. So Foster will be in goal, which yeah, I thought McCarthy from Southampton was bad. Foster is a lot worse. So yeah, he's in between the lines. Vicario is not available. Um, they'll have Pedro Porro on the right hand side, who's had a good season to be fair to him. And scored some goals. Very interesting profile in terms of what he brings to the table. Very attack minded, can score goals, but defensively he's not too bad. So it has a good balance on that right hand side. Uh, on the left side, you probably have Udogi, who will come in good player. Hasn't really hit the heights as he did last year. Last year, I thought he had a great breakthrough season. This year, I think he's been decent, but not nothing spectacular, if I'm being brutally honest. Excuse me. And in terms of the centre back position, they've got uh, Dragusin right there, the Romanian international. Alongside him, unfortunately, is a makeshift centre back in Archie Gray there. So he is playing alongside Dragusin. They've got a lot of injuries in the centre of defence. So, Archie Gray has played that role. I guess for Leeds United, he's played that right back as well. Predominantly a defensive midfielder, but he can definitely play these positions. So probably not his favourite role, but he's got to do the job for the team in regards to this next fixture. Double pivot, they've pretty much got their two first choice players in Sa, and they've also got Bissouma alongside him. So no issues there in terms of the heart of their midfield. Now in terms of the advanced three players, this is definitely a debate one. So I'm sure Tottenham fans will have an opinion on this one because you got Kulusevski, who's normally a mainstay in this team, but you can't disregard the output that Brennan Johnson has produced. He scored around 6 goals, I believe, this season in the Premier League. He just seems to find goals. He's providing assists as well, especially for Solanke. So it's a player that you really can't rule out in terms of starting this game, or you can't really dismiss him because he's been in good form. So a tough decision for Ange Postecoglou, but I think he will still go with Kulusevski on the right hand side, and it has to be Madison in the middle. Player that I'm looking forward to seeing. It's funny. I watched a Jurgen Klopp interview not so long ago, and he was saying that he hates he hates Madison since um, that moment where I think Leicester scored against us, and it ended up being where um, we didn't get win the title that year. So yeah, so obviously Klopp's not a manager now, but yeah, Klopp didn't like him at all. But in terms of the player, Madison altogether, I think he's a good player. He hasn't really scored a lot of goals this season, but I feel like he's slowly picked up form in the last 2, 3 weeks. So could be a concern for Liverpool. And Heung-min Son literally just scored a goal directly from a corner kick against Manchester United. So hopefully he's not scoring any wonder goals against us. And up top, the former red in Solanke. So obviously went to Tottenham for a big transfer fee around 60 odd million. We ended up getting a bit of change out of that as well because we had a sell on clause. So yeah, thank you to Solanke, but unfortunately that money wasn't spent. So that's another topic in terms of FSG spending. But that is my predicted lineup for this fixture. Drop a comment and let me know what you guys think. Do you think it's the team that will be starting against us this Sunday? Do you think there might be any change? They don't have a lot of players available, especially in defence. So pretty much makeshift position, especially for Archie Gray there. You do have DJ Spence as well, who could be an option for either fullback position. So um, from what I've seen, he's actually not done too bad. He's played that left back as well, I think. So could be an option. They've got Brennan Johnson who could also come in. So they do have a few players that can come in and make an impact. You've got Timo Werner possibly off the bench as well. So yeah, it's a team where I'm looking at the defense. I feel like it's weak in terms of the middle. Obviously, Archie Gray's inexperienced. Foster uh, produced a lot of calamity moments, so I'm hoping he has another one in this one. So that's the area where I feel like we need to try and make sure we're taking long shots against Foster. Because if he's like, too fair, even the goals that happened against United, he didn't even parry them away. One goal, the last goal, it literally went through his hands. Like it was just a ridiculous attempt of a save. So we've got to make sure we're hitting shots early in this game and try and make him a bit uneasy. Because once that happens, then he might start getting flashbacks of that United game, and then it could be where he's conceding more goals than he did against United in that fixture. So yeah, Foster's definitely the weakling in this one. Archie Gray is an inexperienced player. Sarr and Bissouma, good balance in the middle of the park. So we need to make sure we're physical, make sure we're first on the ball, make sure we're dominant in that kind of area. So no, they've got two good balanced midfielders there. And Manson, he can score all types of goals. He's a free kick specialist. So definitely got to look out for him. And then you've got Son, who is the talisman in this team. Really good, can play through the middle if required, but on the left, he's really, really strong. And Solanke's actually picked up some decent form recently. He scored a couple against United, so picking up form right at the time where he's facing his former club. So hopefully that doesn't come to bite us. But yeah, that's my predicted lineup for Tottenham. So let me know what you guys think. We'll move on to the predicted Liverpool team. So in goal, it wouldn't be a huge debate on who starts. It will be Alisson Becker. Obviously, did not start against Southampton midweek. So I'm expecting Alisson to regain his position in the team. On the right hand side, even though he did play midweek, I expect him to start in this one due to our injury crisis. So Trent Alexander-Arnold on the right side, Joe Gomez for me as a centre back alongside Virgil van Dijk, who was rested against Southampton. So good player to have returning, of course. This is a debatable one because I've been voicing my praise on Simicast, thinking, he deserves to be number one for us right now. But because he's just returned from injury and Robertson missed the fixture midweek due to suspension, I think Armstrong will go for Robertson for this one. But I think in the upcoming games, once Simicast has picked up form, has picked up that rhythm and regained that sharpness that he showed at earlier weeks, in terms of his form, I think Robertson will remain in this fixture. So because of the race, I think it'll be Robertson. I think going forward, it has to be Simicast as first choice. And in the middle, Gravenberch wasn't starting against Southampton, so there is McAllister just returned against Southampton. He was suspended for 2 games, one in the Champions League, one in the Premier League. So he's had a decent time off. So he's, ready to get back into action. Salah, who didn't start against Southampton, he will be back in lineup. So Bosley for me will be reinstated as well. Excited to see how he does in this fixture. On the left side, I'm actually going for Diaz instead of Gakpo. I know Gakpo's picked up some decent form in recent weeks, but I think Lucho might just have a bit more of a biting edge against Guro on that side of the pitch. So I'm putting my eggs on one basket for Diaz in terms of causing havoc on that side. If not, then Gakpo is a fantastic option for us to have and bring on later on in the game. Up top, I know Jota's just returned, but he's not quite fully fit, and neither is Chiesa. So I'm still sticking with Darwin Núñez through the middle. So that is my predicted lineup. The good thing is we have a lot of options on the bench. We've got, as I just mentioned, Chiesa back. We've got Jota. We've got Harvey Elliott. So attack-minded players there. You've also got Curtis Jones. If required, Endo had a fantastic game at centre back against Southampton. So he's an option for two positions, in terms of centre back and that defensive midfield role. So he's gained a bit of momentum and rhythm just from having those minutes under his belt. So definitely an option to have and definitely worth bringing on the pitch. And you've also got Simicast, who's returned to full fitness. So the bench is looking a lot stronger now. So if things aren't working out or players aren't playing to their capabilities, we have a lot of players on the bench that can switch it up and then we can take it from there. So for me, strong lineup and a strong bench. So perfect timing in terms of our congested fixture list that's coming up soon. So yeah, couldn't have timed it better in terms of these players returning. Um, so that's my lineup. So let me know what you guys think in the chat. Uh, in terms of my prediction, you know, never really go against the Reds in my opinion. Not this season anyway. So I'm going for a Liverpool win. Now, in terms of the scoreline, I know it's away from home. I'm very confident in our team. I know we've dropped points in the last 2 games. However, mm, I think this will be a game where we get a few goals, only on the basis that they've got Foster, who's an awful goalkeeper. Absolutely shocking. I don't really say that out loud instead of certain players, but yeah, he's pretty awful. What is in awful form, to be honest with you? The form that he showed against United, he was, yeah, his head was on the ground. That he just didn't want to be seen whatsoever after the game. So For me, I'm going for a 3-1 victory for the Reds. And in terms of the goal scorers, I'm going for Heung-min Son to score for Tottenham. It'll be a consolation goal more than anything else. And it'll be Mohamed Salah, Darwin Nunez, and Szoboszlai on the score sheet for the Reds. So that is my uh, score prediction. I've also presented my predicted lineups. So yeah, that is the show for today. I'm just going to go through some of the comments and then we can wrap it up. Let's go. So we've got Football with Ends. He says, big up, bro. Have a great stream. Big up yourself, Ends. Thank you for your comment. Thank you for tuning in as always. Abdul Rahim says, hi, Ozzie in chat. Assalamu alaikum. How you all doing? Welcome salam to you, Abdul. Thank you for tuning in. I'm doing good. I hope you are doing good as well. He says, we need to stop drawing games, stop making mistakes at the back. God loves everyone. Bless up, like, comment, share, subscribe. Thanks. You never walk along. Big up yourself, Abdul, as always. And Daz, big up Daz. He said, big up Ozzy in the chat. Big up yourself, Daz. And Steve says, let's go, champ. And Steve has also presented his lineup. So let's review what he's presenting. So he's gone for Alisson, Trent, Gomez, Van Dijk, Simicast. I'm not surprised with you having Simicast in your lineup. And it's fair enough, to be honest with you. I'm just thinking what Slot will do. And I think he'll go for Robertson for this fixture due to the fact that he didn't play. And I think from next week onwards, I see Simicast starting more often. But that's just my opinion. And then you've gone for Mac, Dom, Ryan Gravenberg, and then Salah, Diaz, and Gakpo. So we pretty much got the same team. It's just the left back one, which I kind of, from your point of view, I knew you were never going to put Robertson there. But I think for most people, it's the one. It's a 50-50 one. And he also said F Spurs 11 wasted wasted time. Big God, Steve. Steve says I saw on game plan today on LFC TV. They showed our players just doing shooting practice again and again. Oh, that's a good sight, to be honest with you. Looks like our players just need to hit the target and Foster will do the rest, put in the goal. Yeah, that's literally what I just alluded to earlier on. He was awful against United. So if that is what they're doing, I'm very pleased to hear that. That's music to my ears right now because that is literally the tactic we should be deploying because, yeah, that guy was not saving anything in that fixture. And Steve also says, Son, Dejan only worry me when Spurs attack us. Yeah, Kulusevski definitely a player that can hurt us, I would say, in terms of his finishing. Son, yeah, he can score any type of goal. So I definitely agree with that one. Steve says, I have never seen a game with two bozo keepers playing in it. Yeah, the other keeper was not too great himself, was he? No, he was not good. So yeah, it wasn't it was not great at all, yeah, to say the least. Not the one for the goalkeepers, unfortunately. And Steve says, I would like to see Chiesa, Elliot Jones, Robbo, Jota come on when we are winning comfortably for Mac, Ryan, Mo, Simicast, and Diaz. Yeah, I think our strong is looking strong. Sorry, our bench is looking strong, so it'll be great to see a lot of the players that you've mentioned. Chiesa, I would love to see him on the pitch, get some more minutes. Had a decent cameo when he came on against Southampton. So, if he can continue that, find his match fitness, and then, yeah, we've got a play on our hands. Elliot as well scored a goal. And he's not far off in terms of being 100% right now. So, excited to see what he does on the pitch. And you've got Jones, who's been consistent. Robertson, in terms of what you've presented, yeah, he brings that experience from the bench. So yeah, definitely good on. And Jota as well. The goal he scored against Fulham. Wow, what a finish that was. So yeah, that'll be if he manages to produce another cameo like that. Yeah, we've got a winner there. So hopefully that can happen. Steve's gone for a 4-1 prediction there. So yeah, big up yourself, Steve. Dara Azizi, big up yourself. Dara says, when is Iheanacho back? Iheanacho doesn't play for any team. From what I know, he's not even in the Premier League, and I have no idea. So apologies, Dara. No idea when Iheanacho is back. Steve says, goal scored. Son, he likes game one against us. Gakpo, Mo, Mac, and Dom. Yeah, that's fair. And then Steve said, any low shots we score, any high shots, Foster looks well. Yeah, obviously he's quite a tall lad, so obviously he'll try and make those saves look unbelievable, especially if they're heading towards the top. Yeah, it was probably saying, but the way he's saving, I think just shoot towards him. I'll say you've got 8 out of 10 possibility you'll score, so we've got to keep going at it. And then Steve also says, rumor is Konate head of schedule on his return. Great news. Yeah, I've heard that as well. They haven't really confirmed the time period of when he'll return. I think it'll be before December. Definitely. I know it's obviously we've got 10 days left. So I can see him returning next week, because he was already estimated to arrive or return from injury early Jan. Early Jan. So I think he's a week ahead. So yeah, I think he'll be back next week. That's just my prediction there. Obviously, not really heard anything from the club to confirm that, but that is what I feel. And Dara said, I meant Ibu, sorry. No, no problem, Dara. Big up yourself. Yes, so as Steve just mentioned as well, I think he'll be available from next week. He's ahead of schedule in terms of his rehabilitation, so I expect him to be in the lineup in the next game. So we've got, I'd probably say the West Ham game. The West Ham game, I believe, is next weekend on the 29th, isn't it? So yeah, I'm going to go for West Ham. I think that would be the game where I see him returning, to be honest with you. We've got Leicester City on Thursday. So my prediction is West Ham. Um, if he's not fully fit, I would say there's no urgency. What we can do is just, keep him under cotton wool and save him for that Manchester United game, which is on the 5th of Jan. So for me, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. It'll be good to have him back. I think fair play to Joe Gomez. He's done a decent job for us where we've not looked like um, we've struggled as such. We've done decently well. But I do feel like whoever we sign next summer as a centre back needs to be of that Ibu ilk where he has to be a strong, dominant centre back because we have, I think, lost a bit of physicality in the back line. Obviously, that's probably another discussion for another day. Steve says strong rumours. LFC are in talks with Ryan Cherky from Lyon, quality young player. Cherky in case out on loan back to Italy. If that's the rumour, I'll be honest with you, I like Cherky, but for me, it wouldn't be at the expense of Chiesa because I still feel like Chiesa has a lot to offer, and I feel like it would be a bit premature for us to just get rid of him on loan in January. That's just my opinion. I do like Cherky. Whether he fits the way we play, it's a debatable one because naturally a number 10 can play right wing as well. Amazing technical ability, don't get me wrong, but would he fit in our team in terms of the philosophy of the coach? Is he an Arnold Slot type player? I'm not quite so sure because our advanced players are required to be very, very agile and very, very athletic in terms of pressing and working hard in that front line. Turkey doesn't really have that kind of part of his game where he's going to do the high press. He's a luxury player, and when I say that is because he's so amazing on the ball. You've probably got other people around him to do the groundwork, and then you can afford to have a player like Cherky who will go on the end of the ball and score an amazing goal. That is the type of player he is. So I don't know if he's the right fit for Liverpool. I do like him. Don't get me wrong. I'm not sure if he is, but let's see. I hope Chiesa doesn't leave because I think that would be quite silly of us to do in January. And I would feel like a waste of time that I even signed him in the summer if this was going to happen. So no, I still feel like we have to give Chiesa a bit of time. Um, and then next summer we can assess the situation. But I don't feel like it should be done in January. But that's just my thoughts on that situation there. Dara says, I like to see Bashley back in the squad. So a lot of fans have said that. I wouldn't mind him being back in the squad, only because I don't believe FSG will sign anyone. So I'd rather have an extra body in the squad. He'll be our sixth choice midfielder. So it adds a bit more depth in that department. So I wouldn't be against it, to be honest with you. Whether he does have a clause that allows him to return in January, I'm not too sure if that has been confirmed out there. Please let me know. But from what I know, I don't think that is the case. So no, I can't confirm that. But yeah, I wouldn't mind him returning to the squad if I'm being honest with you. Steve said FSG saying they are skint to buy players for LFC next month. On the other hand, they are in talks to buy another club. That's FSG for you, Steve. You know how it is. PR machine on roll right there. So yeah, that's just how they do things. Ben Doak too. Yeah, he's been looking good at Middlesbrough. I wouldn't want him to return just yet. You can let him continue his development there. He's playing some of his best football, and you don't want to disrupt his momentum there because he's playing week in, week out. If he comes to Liverpool, that won't be the case. So let him complete his loan there until next summer, and then we can bring him back for pre-season and then analyze and see what we think is best for him. Maybe another loan move would be good for him at a Premier League club to see if he's able to cut it at this level of the game. So it'll be interesting. But a player that I feel like still has the future of the club. Some fans have pretty much dismissed as thinking, oh, he's just a young prospect. We're not really going to see him in a red shirt. I don't know. I think there is a player that I feel like we could see him in some shape or form in the coming years, hopefully. But who knows? Let's see what happens. And Steve says at Dara, FSG to sell Endo next month. His replacement is bashes back to Liverpool. FSG keep the money from Endo. So that's ridiculous, in my opinion. Um, if that is the case, that would annoy me because we're not blessed with a lot of numbers in that midfield area in terms of our double pivot. We've got only 5 options there. So for us to get rid of one to replace another one, 5 is not an adequate number for that position. It should be at least 6, in my opinion. So yeah, if that is the case, I'd be very disappointed. If Endo was to leave, it's because we're signing another player with the possibility of Bash also returning on loan. That's what I would want to see in an ideal world. But let's see. Let's see what happens. Red Skull, big up yourself, Red Skull. He says, give Spurs the win. No, 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 we can't give the Spurs the win now. Come on now. Dara says, hope Solanke doesn't come back to haunt us. Yeah, I was thinking earlier on. He's been looking in good scoring form as well, scored a couple against United. So hopefully that is not the case. Um, Steve says to Adara Gomez, Van Dijk eat Solanke for a snack. Yeah, I don't think whenever I've seen Solanke up against Van Dijk or any of our centre backs when he's played for Bournemouth, he hasn't really posed a huge threat to us. But I think playing for Tottenham, he seems like a different player. He's a lot more confident. He's playing at the level that he believes he should be at. So you might see a different version. So for me, still gotta keep an eye on him. But I have faith in my centre backs to do a job in this game. Dara says, I hope so, Steve. And Steve also says, if OZWRLD starts, OZWRLD is going to be a bit of a theme now. Hearing people saying on social media, God help us. What Spurs attack his side again and again? Long day. I hope not. I hope not. But this is what I think will be the lineup, in my opinion. Um, I would personally go for Simicas. I feel like he's the better informed player right now. But because he's just returned from injury, I think it'll be too soon for him to start games. So it makes sense to start Robbo for this one because he was not available midweek. And then from next week onwards against Leicester and then West Ham, we can analyze and then take it from there. So I'll probably earmark Leicester as Simicas's first start since pick up his injury. But that's just my guess there. Steve Singh, FSG propaganda machine linking Alfonso Davies to LFC. LOL, top res FSG in fan base. Excited, make this make sense. Look, I really like Davies, but I kind of agree with you, Steve. It's just not a realistic signing, in my opinion. I know he's on a free transfer, but that's the kind of signing you expect a Real Madrid to do. So yeah, it's just to appease fans that we're doing work behind the scenes. We're trying to sign these players. We're trying to do this. Don't worry about us. Like just because we haven't made much noise doesn't mean we're not doing anything. We're trying to acquire the best talent available. Yeah, I'm not buying it. So I'm with you on that one, Steve. That is definitely propaganda on that side. Dara said we should sign Robinson. Do you know what? He's a very good player. I just don't think he's a target for us on the basis of his age, which I know sounds silly. He's only 27. But for FSG, that's old. So I don't think they'll sign a left back at that age. Um, I could definitely see him getting signed by another club in the league. He's really good. Not saying he's too good for Fulham. I don't want to be disrespectful, but I feel like if there's a team that is fighting for European football, he'd be a great addition to a lot of teams. So no, good player. I do rate him. I just don't think that's the kind of profile that Liverpool will be looking at in the upcoming future. Steve says, under ambitious owners, we sell Endo, signs of money, bring back Bashir and sign him captain. Yeah, that's not happening with FSG. Let's be honest. Dara says Robinson would qualify as a homegrown player. If that's the case, yeah, that'll definitely help with our quota. I just don't. I think the whole age thing is a big deal. So no, I don't see that being realistic. Ozzie, what does Bozo Robbo do? I give a pen away, red card, and let go in next game. I think with Robertson, Arsenal's just relying on him on into the experience and having a bit more of a measured approach in games. But look, I've not been his biggest fan this year, and I've been very honest in terms of critiquing his performances because there's been a lot of woeful ones this season. So, um, but I'm not going to say get rid of him in January because I know a lot of fans are saying that already. Um, so yeah, we'll see. But yeah, I think he'll start. I just think he'll start. But if it's down to me, then I wouldn't start. I will start him because I think he's the better left back this season anyway. So. Steve said that Dara, I prefer resigning Hincapi and Hato, job done. Hato, I'm definitely on board with that one. Hincapi, I'm not too sure. I do like him as a player, but for me, my personal preference, I would prefer to get a player that's similar to Konate. And someone that stands out for me is Monday from Sporting. I feel like that's the profile we need because if we've got Hato, Hato's that left-footed left back that can play centre back. So he can do both positions. We don't need Hincapi as well because they're a bit more like for like from a positional point of view. So yeah, for me, Hato is definitely the one. I don't know if you've seen the video going around social media of Hato meeting Van Dijk, and he was just like in awe with with his presence. Like you saw the aura in that room. So I'm gonna have to upload in the next show. But yeah, it was someone that I'm sure he looks up to. So hopefully, fingers crossed, until he becomes a Liverpool player one day. Steve said Man United or Chelsea sign Robinson 50, 60 million. Yeah, I didn't want to say out loud, but he'd be a fantastic signing for United. That is the profile they need, exactly what they need. Someone that's got a bit of experience in the league and is just ready to kick in. He's not a young prospect, he's established at his level. So I definitely think, that is the player that should be looking at. And you know, I don't know if they have the money. I saw something earlier on where they're reducing the stewards' bonuses this Christmas, so they're making um, all kinds of cuts wherever they can, from the bottom to the top. More so at the bottom, it seems like. But yeah, it's not my football club. They can do what they want. Dara said he was born in England to English parents. In terms of homegrown quota, it doesn't quite work with where you're from or nationality wise. It's based on if you played at a club before 21. So I don't know Robinson's. Let's have a quick look actually. In terms of his journey at the club, did he come through the ranks or whatnot? Because it's not based on nationality in that regards. So let me just have a quick look. So he started his career at Everton. So if he started his career at Everton, yeah, he'll be homegrown. So yeah, you're right. Obviously, in terms of it's not the parents thing, it's more so where did he start his career? So all the clubs he's played for are British clubs. So he came through the ranks of Everton. Then he went on loan to Bolton for a year. Then he went on loan for Wigan another year. Signed there permanently from Wigan, and then has been at Fulham since 2020. He's been there for 4 years. So yeah, he would qualify as homegrown, which is a plus point. Definitely, don't get me wrong. I think the age thing might just be a bit of a deal breaker. Not for me. I feel like he's experienced enough to come in and do a job. But I don't know, FSG might have different ideas. They might be because if you're looking at the prospects of players that we're linked to, so the likes of Kirkes is a player who's 20, 21, I believe. So that's the kind of profile we're looking at. Hato, we've also mentioned he's around he's not even 19, he's 18 years old. So we're looking at young prospects. That can come in and do a job. So even I don't believe it, but even Alfonso Davis, he's 24. So we're looking at that kind of under 24, under 25 players. So we'll see what happens. That's Bill Daz said, Bill Ozzie, do you think Jota will get minutes? I think he will. I think he will, Daz. If I was to get making a sort of prediction to how many minutes. I think he'll come on for about 20 or so minutes. He's just not quite fully fit to start games, but I definitely feel like he can come on for 20, 30 minutes with no issues. So yeah, I think we're trying to slowly embed him back to the team, back to the lineup. No urgency. We've got players that are doing a decent job right now. But it's fantastic to have Jota back. That goal that he scored against Fulham, yeah, what a great goal that was. So yeah, the more the better for us. Steve says, Ozzie Robbo done it. Robbo don't fit in the Arnold system. He's not comfortable on the ball, in tax facing under pressure. Yeah, he's not. He's not. That Arsenal game, yeah, really, really irks me. That Saka goal. Because those are things where everyone knows what Saka is going to do. Uh, apart from Robertson, he didn't see that coming. So no, but I think in terms of the short term, I would not sell Robertson. I know a lot of fans are saying to get rid of him. I don't think he's that bad. I still feel like he can do a decent job. Um, but next season the left back position needs to be addressed. So it's funny if you asked me this question, I think a couple of months ago, who would I keep? Would I keep Robertson or Simicast? And I said Robertson due to his experience and stuff, but I feel like right now it might be swaying towards Simicast only because Robertson's consistently making mistakes, and that is a huge concern. That for me is a sign of decline in a player right there. So if he's dropping, you know, that kind of performances on a weekly basis, I wouldn't even want him as a squad player. But look, that's not me saying he's a terrible player. Get rid. I'm just assessing what's been presented in this season, and it's not been his best, and he will probably admit that himself. So for me, it's something that needs to be looked at end of the season. See where we are in terms of where we finish, how he's performed, how Simic has performed, because that would definitely need to be taken into consideration. If we are signing a left back, one player will need to depart. It's not like neither of them can play centre back or midfield, or they're literally out on that left back. So they will need to think about what's best for them because if Robertson decides to leave, for example, or he's been told to leave, and Simicast is the only left back, then we sign someone else. Is Simicast automatic number one, or is he fighting for his spot? Because he'll probably argue and say, "Look, I've been there for a few years. I should be first choice, and whoever comes in should fight for my place." It might not be the case, so it depends on what is communicated to the players. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Next comment here from Eddie's Football Waffle. Big up Eddie's Football Waffle. Please, guys, make sure you subscribe to Eddie's Football Waffle. He's a United fan, but he's a huge supporter of the channel and is also a friend of ours. So yeah, please show your support and make sure you hit the subscribe button. He said, dropping a like, bro. Are you worried that your form might be dropping off in the league? Chelsea are tapping your shoulder. Yeah, they certainly are breathing behind our necks, but I'm not too concerned about Chelsea, if I'm being honest. Yes, in terms of dropping points in the last two games against Fulham and Newcastle is a slight concern. The Fulham one is just one of those ones where we yeah, this is one of those games where it's probably lucky to get a point in the end. To be honest with you, the way we played wasn't great, and the Newcastle was probably the same. So no, not hugely concerned. We're finally getting some players returning to the squad, so the bench and the lineup should be a lot stronger than it has been in the last few weeks. So no, no huge concerns. My only concern is about Tottenham, which Tottenham is turning up because when they put it on, like you probably can allude to what happened against your team yesterday. They can play some good football, so it's going to be interesting. What team turns up? So yeah, looking forward to how that pans out. Uh, Steve says that Ozzy and Cappy can play left side and left back, just like Hato. We need both to be signed. And Cappy is my number one left back in the team. He's more experienced than Hato. Oh, so you're basically signing both players, or in terms of like what you'd want, on the basis that they're both going to fight for left back, but then they can also cover centre back. That's interesting. My personal stance, I don't think we need a left-footed centre back that is going to be a starter. That's just my opinion. Van Dijk occupies that role. Obviously, if Van Dijk leaves, then we're going to have a completely different conversation, and touch wood that does not happen. Um, So for me, Van Dijk is not movable. For me, he stays in that position because that is his role. That is his side of the defense. That's where he stays. So for me, if anyone comes in, is to give Van Dijk a rest or a bit of rotation there and all that sort of stuff. So I would rather sign one player like a Hatter. For me, Hatter would be the guy where he is left back first choice, but then can also play centre back if required. But then at the same time, possibly add another centre back to our ranks, but a right-footed player, not a left-footed. Someone for me like a Diomande who can match up to Konate in terms of what he brings to the pitch. Very similar, I think, both of those players, but they can actually play alongside each other, which is great. So for me, that would be the sign where if Konate wasn't available or unfortunately picks up another injury, Diomande is a ready-made replacement that can literally do what Konate can do on the pitch. And you've also got the likes of Joe Gomez. I think Kwanzaa would, my opinion, should probably go out on loan next season. So that's why I'm saying keep Joe Gomez, have Van Dijk, and have Konate, and then have another fourth choice centre back, like a Diomande. That would be my preference there. I feel like Kwanzaa, he's shown a lot of promise. Don't get me wrong, but I feel like he might need to just get some first team football elsewhere so he continues his development because I think he was kind of rushed into the first team due to the injuries that he picked up last year. So right now, I feel like maybe kind of similar to Bastic, where he really shined in a situation where we we looked awful. We didn't really have a midfield, so he hasn't been able to rediscover that same form again. And maybe off-field issues have affected France's focus in terms of how he's playing. I also feel like that opening game against Ipswich Town really hurt his pride. So I feel like he's struggled to bounce back again, and he's playing with a bit of low confidence. You can see it on the pitch, which is a shame because I do feel like he's a really good player and has a bright future ahead of him. So I feel like a loan move to another Premier League team, if I was to choose one on top of my head, a team like Brentford would be really good because there's not a lot of pressure to finish up towards the European places, but just have a solid season. And they've got a good coach in Thomas Frank. So I think that would be a good place for him to ply his trade and then come back a better player. So that would be my choice. But on fair play in terms of your thoughts there. My preference would be get Hato and then get a player like Diomande. That would be my dream signings there. Dara, as Easy says, my first time here. Excellent content. Big up yourself, Dara. Thank you for your kind words there. Steve says Chelsea will be top of the table end of December or by middle of January 2025. I hope not. I really hope not. Um, Steve says welcome, Dara. Yes, yes, that's Steve. Steve, one of our loyal viewers, always presenting so many comments and questions. So yeah, big up Steve as always. So yes, we're very tight knit community. So yeah, big up yourself, Dara, and big up for joining the stream and getting involved in the chat. And for Uncle Ross, big up, my brother, big up yourself, Uncle, and for Uncle Ross, big up yourself. Please, guys, make sure you subscribe to Uncle Ross's channel. Do some great content. He came on my show last week. I also made an appearance on his channel. So yeah, always doing some good content. So yeah, big up to him. And yes, please make sure you subscribe to his channel. I think he's on the road to 3K. So yeah, please help him reach that target. Steve says Juve might sell Kenan Yildiz next year. Amazing player. Love him at LFC. Future world star. He's a good player. I do remember highlighting him as one to watch in the Euros last year for Turkey. So if he's available, then that is definitely a player we can look into. Most definitely. Dad says another one, Ozzy. If Harvey gets minutes, would you take Mo off? It would depend on the game, to be honest with you, Daz. I think Elliot could come on to replace Szoboszlai plays as a number 10 or Mohamed Salah. But I think because Chiesa has returned to the bench now as well, I think Chiesa is actually more of a direct replacement for Salah now. So for me, Harvey Elliott would be probably replacing Szoboszlai if we need to switch it up in that part of the game. So I would say for directly to play as a number 10 more so than playing right wing to replace Salah. But he could play either role, which is definitely a great advantage for us to have. So it's good to have him back in the squad, really. Steve says, sell Robo Simicast next summer, bring in Hincapié Hatter. You're not messing about, Steve. Hincapié and Hatter to replace them. Simicast is on now on Stock's number one left back. Yeah, I believe he is as well. But the thing with Simicast, which is just a little bit frustrating, is that he'll pick up good form and he'll just pick up an injury and then he'll be out for a few weeks and then it slowly takes time for him to find that rhythm. If he stays fit, we've got a good player there because I feel like this season, whenever I've seen him play, he's really impressed me in terms of the way he attacks the ball, but even his technique in the crossing, he's so much more accurate than Robertson, which is weird because Robertson has the highest assist from a fullback position. So yeah, I think we've got a, a good player there in Simicast. Be interesting what happens in terms of that left back position. That's going to be a big talking point, I would say, in the coming months in terms of what we do there. Dara says he's a bench player. We spent too much focus on him trying to sign us this when we clearly needed a left back 2 years ago. I agree with that one. Steve says Uncle Ross in the house. Big up as always. Eddie's saying thanks for the shout, bro. No problem at all, Eddie. Big up yourself for tuning in. Um, Steve said that Dara, you're right. We need Robo Sol in the summer of 2022. Yeah, since then he's been declining at 100 knots a game. Yeah, the decline is more visible now, so that's why I feel like it's become such a big talking point, and I see it, to be honest with you. Eddie's Football Waffle said, "Yeah, Ozzie, your team may get the horn Spurs. Are confident from that win, but high line tax. Yeah, Salah and even Nunes will eat. Yeah, Nunes scoring against Southampton, so he's back to his goal scoring form. I know a lot of fans were like over jubilant about that. Everyone knows my view about Darwin Nunes, where I think he's got talent, but I just don't think he's suited for our team, and he's not suited for this league. I feel like if he was in another league, like a Spanish league, Italian league, I think he'd do really well there. But that doesn't mean I don't support the player. Whenever he does something well, he gets full credit from me. If he does terrible, then he will get criticism from me as well. But yeah, the Darwin Nunes army on social there's something else. They're on full support. They're like he's back and all of this stuff. I wouldn't quite say he's back. He wasn't gone too fair. He's just doing what we expect from him. But this year he's more of a bench player. That's how I would label Darwin Nunez. Obviously, I've got him in the starting lineup right now, but that's only because Jota and Chiesa have just returned from injury. Those two are the players that I would like to see playing more centrally. Like Jota does that anyway, but I like to see Chiesa being given opportunity to play as a striker because I feel like he can definitely do a job. He's done it for Juventus. He played a second striker slash striker for them over the last 2 3 years. So it's definitely a role that he can do. That Dara's next comment is the last time I saw Spurs play was at White Hart Lane in Rush. Scored that day in a 3-1 win. Well, big on that's a blast from the past. That's pretty cool. Steve says my dream defenders for 2005/2006 season. Trent Bradley. So that's the two left backs there. I couldn't agree more with that one. Konate, Virgil van Dijk, Lukeba, Gomez, Hincapié, Hatter. Lukeba for me is not a realistic one. He signed a big contract and we're not spending that much money. We've got to pay like at least 80 million for that kid to come. So no, that's not happening. Gomez, I see Hincapié, you've expressed your views on that one, so that's fair. And Hatter, and then 8 monster defenders, constant on loan. So yeah, pretty much is in line in terms of the way I'm thinking right now. But I think profile we've got different ideas. But yeah, big up yourself for that. Dara said I like to swap Nunes and one other for Isaac. Yes, for me, Isaac is the guy. That is the striker that I want at the club. Some would say who else is in good form? Gyökeres for Sporting, good striker, but it's kind of similar to how Darwin Nunes plays. Obviously, not in built, but the way they play is quite similar. I like the way Isak plays. I feel like the real finisher. I feel like for Liverpool, I think he can really cook. So that would be my dream signing as a striker as well. Whether it happens, God knows. We'll see what happens with that one. Um, Abdul says Nunes, Gakpo, and Diaz are left wing. I don't like Nunes at left wing, Abdul. I'll be honest with you. I know he can do a decent shift there, especially when he comes off the bench. But from a starting position in games, I don't like him in that role. That's just my opinion. I've never liked him there. I prefer Jota there in comparison to Darwin Nunes. And you've also said Jota number 10 and false 9. Yeah. Do we really need a proper number 9 that is ruthless, finisher, poacher, and goal machine? I think we do. Um, on the basis that Jota's availability is not very high. It's quite limited. He does pick up a lot of injuries, which we know, we've got a track record of that over the years since he's been at the club. So quality wise, I don't question Jota. I think he's literally the ideal striker that we need in this team. But unfortunately, if he's injured, then who comes in to replace him? I mentioned that Chiesa can come in and do a job, but that wouldn't be his predominant role. He's more of a winger, in my opinion. So I would like us to sign a striker that will be the starter week in, week out, and then have Jota on the bench. I'm not going to say he's a bench player as such, but he's a player that will be managed better, where he wouldn't play consecutive games. He'll be utilized in games where we need his presence, and we won't just play him for the sake of playing him because we don't have options available. So for me, manage his games better, manage his body better because obviously if he's picking up injuries here and there, we need to be a bit more smart in terms of how we utilize him in the team. So for me, I have Jota there, but I have another striker, and Isak would be my favorite signing to go with that one and have Isak and Jota through the middle. And if those players aren't available, you've got Chiesa that can play up top. You've got Luis Diaz that can play up top. Gakpo, but I don't think Arne Slot likes Gakpo in the middle. I don't think Gakpo likes to play as a striker, to be fair. And Mohamed Salah, if worse comes to worse. So, you know, that is the kind of options we have in the team. So for me, I feel like we need to upgrade on Darwin Núñez and get a prolific striker. That's for me the like for like substitution. It doesn't like I know you're saying that he has to be like a goal machine. For me, it just needs to be someone that's clinical because Darwin Núñez misses a lot of chances. And when you're playing for Liverpool, you're not giving a lot of chances. We're very blessed that we have a team that creates a lot, but we might be in a game against a top opposition where you get one chance, and that might be the one chance where you need to convert. And with Darwin Núñez, he scores the spectacular, but when it comes to your bread and butter, where you're one on one and you need to place a shot in the bottom corner, he doesn't do those type of finishes, and that's what concerns me. That's not a prolific striker. That's not a natural goal scorer, in my opinion. So no. So for me, I do feel like we need to upgrade on Darwin Núñez and sign a ruthless number 9. That's just my opinion. Um, Steve says. Q should have been loaned out this season and 2 quality centre backs signed this summer. Loan concert to a championship club. I think he's good enough to play in the Premier League. But I see your point though. If there isn't any interest from the Premier League, then I feel like a championship would be a decent level. But I think some Premier League teams will actually sign Quansah. I think he's shown enough to suggest that he can play at this level. So yeah, either way, I think a loan deal will be good for his development and for his mental space as well. Abdul says we need to stop leaking goals and stop making mistakes. Yeah, we certainly do. Steve says Chiesa looks way off getting fit, looks tired when he came on. Yeah, I don't want him to play too many minutes. We just need to manage him a bit better, making sure that it's cameos more than coming on for like full games or starting games. I don't think he's quite ready for that. I think next month, like towards the end of Jan, is when I'm expecting him to start games in that kind of manner. Once he's gotten used to the physicality of the league. So he hasn't made a lot of league appearances. I know it was the Carabao Cup. So this one will be his second league performance from what I remember. So yeah, we just gotta bide our time with him. I'm hoping there's no truth to rumors. I would not like to displace Chiesa from the team, in my opinion. I think he's got a lot to give. And I feel like if he stays fit, I think he can really be a huge asset for us in our run up in the second half of the season. I really do. So let's see what happens with Chiesa. Steve says Elliot Cook's in the middle of the park, wasted out wide and not suited to his abilities. Um, he does cook through the middle. Yes, you are correct. I still feel like he can do a good job at right wing. I feel like he might not be your typical right winger where you're expecting him to hit that byline with pure speed and twisting and turning fullbacks left, right, and centre. He's not really that kind of player. He's more of a playmaker on that right hand side. So kind of like what Salah does, but Salah can actually do the other stuff where he can outpace fullbacks and get around him. So for me, he can still do a good job. He's just a different type of player on that right hand side, not what you typically expect, especially because we're used to Salah over the years. But I feel like he's a good player that can play in the right wing and can play in the number 10 role. So having a player like that can play in those two positions at a good level is very, very good for our squad depth. Um, Abdul says we need left back, centre back, DM, and number 9. 100% agree with that. And so does Dad. Sorry, that was Steve there. And then Steve says FSG gave Arnold these two players on 1st Jan. He kept Zubimendi. I don't think Zubimendi's coming. I feel like we got to part the bus on that one. That's not realistic. I just don't. I feel like that's that PR machine rolling again, linking Zubimendi to the club. He's not a realistic option. So I feel like we've got to stop giving some fans hope because some fans believe these rumors when they come out. I've been a Liverpool fan for a long time now. I've seen how the rumor mill works. It's not how it is, and especially under FSG, I know what's realistic and what's not, and I don't think Mendy is a realistic one. Steve goes on to say we win the title middle of April over too cheap, no ambition FSG. You already know their stance, so yeah, not expecting too much from them. Steve says that Abdul, you talking facts and great football knowledge. Yeah, Abdul has great football knowledge. Always comes up with relevant points and asking me some great questions. So big up to Abdul as always. Dara says the two late goals Nunes scored against Newcastle extended his Liverpool career. He's a championship level player. Wow, Dara. Fans are gonna go on your back for that one, but I'm just joking. But no, listen, I think championship level is a bit harsh, if I'm being brutally honest. I think that's a tad bit harsh. I do feel like he's able to play at a very good level. I just don't think he's suited for the Premier League. And there's no shame in that. There are some players that are more built for a level of football where it's not as hectic and chaotic, even though we call him Captain Chaos, but that's because he brings it in terms of his pressing. But the way the English game is played, the magnitude of how the games are played out, the ferocity of the speed on in terms of how we play. It's like a basketball game. It's end-to-end stuff like that doesn't suit him because he's not a hold-up type of striker. He's a striker that plays on the shoulder. So he would suit a team that is highly focused on counter-attacks. Well, obviously we are a counter-pressing team, but we play high possession football, especially under Arne Slot. So he just doesn't suit our team, unfortunately. I think generally he doesn't even suit the league, in my opinion. I feel like it's too frantic for him, and for me, that is a big thing that I think about Darwin is that he doesn't have composure in front of goals. So I feel like in another league he can really like cook, really score a lot of goals. So I think championship level is harsh. I do feel like he's a good player, but I just feel like he's probably suited for another league, which is there's no shame in that at all. Dara says, I like to subscribe all the way from Arizona. I'm an expat. Look forward to your next stream. Good night. Well, big up yourself, Dara. Big up from Arizona. So, yeah, you're all in the States. So, yeah, big up yourself at this time. So, yeah, appreciate your support. Appreciate you liking and subscribing to the channel. So, yeah, hopefully I'll see you in the next stream as well. Steve says, Ozzy, you're saying Lukeba too expensive for MSG. You're right. How about Antonio Silva? He's lost his way last 18 months. Talent is still there. No, he's talented, Steve. You're not wrong about that. Um, I'll be honest with you, I haven't seen him in recent months. When we were first linked to him, I did try and catch a couple of games, and I thought, he's definitely a player with huge potential. It will just depend on the club's stance in terms of how much they want to sell him for. Because Benfica like to rip us off. So if you remember all those years ago, we signed Markovic for 50 million. That was less said the better. And obviously the Darwin Nunes deal, we got ripped off on that one as well. So they're a team that I don't want to negotiate with personally, because they always, get their money's worth out of us. We go in there blindly when it comes to negotiations with their players. But I'll be interested to see how he does. It might be a player to look out for now to see how he does. But if he's lost his way, it's a concern. It would have to be a very decent price because he was quoted for like 80, 90 million not so long ago. So if he's lost his way, there's no way we'd pay for that kind of fee. But you never know. I know he's definitely a player that the club have scouted over the years, or years, probably a year or two. He's only 18, 19. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with him. But if he's lost his way, then I don't think that'll be a safe option to try and sign him anytime soon. Abdul says Downers is mentally not strong, no hold up play, can't go past his man confidence and try too hard. Nunes needs to be sold. I definitely agree. He needs to be sold. That is my opinion as well. Um, yeah, I just think the type of football just doesn't suit his game. I genuinely believe that the hold up play, he has shown improvements in that part of his game. If I'm being honest with you, he does hold up play a little bit better now. But for me, with these things that you mentioned, that he can't go past play. He can. I think he can. He's shown it when he plays left wing on occasions. Um, Finishing for me isn't the best. But even if he's able to do all of these things, the thing about Donovan is he's not consistent with it. And unfortunately, there's only so much you can do 1 or 2 games and then be a drop off for the next few games afterwards. End of the day, he's a striker. He's our number 9, and he's not getting the goals. So for me, that is a concern. So yeah, I agree. I think he does need to be sold, and we need to upgrade on him. It's as simple as that. Steve says sell Jota Nunes this summer, then buy Isak and Vlahovic. Yeah, a lot of people are saying sell Jota. I'm not on that boat, to be honest with you. Like I would rather have Jota as a backup striker because I know what he brings to the table, and he'll know deep down like he can't play week in week out because of the injury record that he has. So he'll be content, and obviously he's an option for left wing if we need him there. So I feel like if we manage him correctly, we've got a player that can definitely play a huge number of games and have the same output at the same time. So no, Nunes, yes, I'm on board in terms of selling Nunes. I'm not on board on selling Jota. That's just my opinion. I know a lot of fans and content creators have said they will want to sell Jota. Not for me. I'm not quite there. I don't think that is a good thing to do. I don't think that's a good option, but that's my choice there. Um, Steve says sell them next summer, 2025. Abdul says we need to stop the draw, break low block teams. Yeah, we do. We do need to do that. Steve says he has not signed his new low ball deal. Yes, offer from FSG. Do you know what the terms are? Because I don't know exactly what he's been offered. I know he's currently on like 50, 60K, which is very low if you consider what the other players are earning in the team. Um, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully, I do like Diaz. I'll be honest with you, I do like Diaz. Um, if he's not happy with the contract, then I can see him leaving next summer, unfortunately. But we'll get clarity, I guess, in the coming weeks and months. Then your same comment says sell Diaz and bring in Kudus. I like Kudus, but I don't like Kudus at left wing. For me, Kudus is better on the right hand side or through the middle. I remember we played against Ajax a few years back. I think Kudus was in the same team as Gravenberg, and he's got a fantastic goal. It was a close range shot, but in the Eredivisie, he was playing as a striker as well and can play as a number 10. So for me, playing more centrally or on the right wing suits him. Left wing, I know he's a left-footed player, but he's that player where he's got such raw speed. He likes to cut in and then shoot with his left, not play on the left side where he's got whipping crosses. That's not his game. Um, but he could be a good option for us to have, I guess, off the bench, but then he'd be a very expensive player. It'd be like 80, 90 million. So if you're paying that much, you expect him to start week in, week out. So for me, not the profile that I would go for in terms of selling Diaz if that was a situation and bringing in Kudus. If I would say, like, if Diaz was to leave or to be sold, I'd go for someone like Nico Williams. I feel like that's the player that would cook on our left hand side and can play the right wing very comfortably as well. Left wing would be his position. So that'd be my type of player that I'd want us to sign. Realistic or not, that's a debatable one, but that is just, player that I really like. Um, Steve said new front men next summer, i.e. Gakpo, Mo, Kudus, Chiesa, Isak, Cherky, starting three, Isak, Gakpo, and Mo. You never know. Let's see. Let's see. I don't know. I don't have a lot of faith in FSG, if I'm being honest with you, Steve. Look, it all sounds good in terms of like these playing, like you've got Kudus there, who would cost about 80, 90 million. Isak there, how much is he going to cost? About the same kind of price. Cherky will cost about 30, 40 mil. over 200 million there. When do we spend that kind of money? So in ideal world, that'd be great, but I just don't have any faith in them. I feel like we'll be we'll be looking at free transfers at Real Madrid. It might be how we roll now. So let's see. I'd love to be proven wrong in that situation. Steve says rumors are City looking to spend 150 million on Zubimendi, Ellison, Lukeba. I don't think they'll spend that money, Steve, if I'm being honest with you. I think that's just paper talk. I would be very surprised if they spent money in January, considering what's going on with their current situations from 115 to 130 charges. I think that'd be crazy for them to spend 150 million. So no, no. I don't think I don't think that's gonna happen. I think that's very unrealistic. Dara says, please look up Kia's injury history. You are flogging a dead horse if you think he will stay fit. He's another Thiago. Finally, good night all. Good night to you, Dara. His injury record hasn't been that bad since he picked up that knee ligament injury. He has missed games, don't get me wrong, but it hasn't been that bad. The only reason why we've not seen him in a Liverpool shirt is because he didn't have a preseason. I believe, was selected for Italy in the Euros, but he didn't uh, play any part in Juventus's preseason friendlies because Thiago Motta, the new manager at the time, froze him out. So he wasn't playing. I'm not even sure if he was training. That's how bad the situation was. So he was completely frozen out. So that's why he was trying to get him up to game. He didn't really have a preseason. So, when you don't have a preseason, it takes you a few months to get used to the rhythm of the game. That's why I feel like we'll see the best of him. We'll see, hopefully, a good light of him from January onwards. So let's see. Let's see how it goes. Abdul says being top at this stage is false hope. We need to have investment players into January 2025. Agreed, but unfortunately, Abdul, it's just not FSG style, is it? This is the time where you would add quality. Of course, I totally agree with you, but I just don't. From what FSG have done over the years, I just don't see it happening. As you know, I don't sound very positive when I say it out loud, but I just know what they're about, and they've shown it over the years. I know they do sign the player in January. They've signed Diaz, they've signed Gakpo, but that's more on the basis that it was a, not a panic buy as such, because it wasn't a panic buy. Panic from their point of view, where they were listed as summer targets, and they realized that other teams are showing interest and might close the deal. So then we had to kind of hijack it. We did that twice. The Gakpo deal, I think United were sniffing around, and Tottenham, I think reportedly were close to agreeing a deal with them. So that's why we came in and took him off their hands there. So no, you're right. We do need to support the coach, which is actually your second point to give support to Onslaught, but I don't know. FSG, with what we have in our club right now, we've got Michael Edwards, we've got Richard Hughes. You already know my thoughts on Richard Hughes. I think he's a fraud. I don't think he should be a Liverpool sporting director. I don't think he's at our level, in my opinion. So he's just there because Michael Edwards is his best mate and he's just got him a job. So let's see. Let's see what happens. We're not far off January. January is literally next week. Let's see what happens in terms of room mills. I will be doing some more transfer talk show, guys. So I'll have something lined up maybe next week, and then we can talk about all of these rumors. But I know there'll be rumors regarding Liverpool. But I'm sure there'll be other rumors for other clubs, which will be always a nice thing to talk about. Uh, but yeah, if there's any Liverpool ones, I'll definitely do a Liverpool dedicated show for that as well. Uh, Steve says Antonio Silva available for sale 25 million next month. Evans should get one loan with an option to buy. He's a bench. He's been benched a lot. Managers don't like him. A loan one wouldn't be too bad, but then is it another Kwanzaa kind of situation? Similar age, similar profile in terms of they're both dipped in form a little bit. I don't know. It doesn't give me a bit of confidence with that situation. But you never know. You never know. Steve says Jota as a backup striker, left wing, limited game time, still gets injured. Yes, I guess, but then there's no heavy reliance on him to play, if that makes sense, because over the years we've always had 5 attackers. Right now we have 6. So I know it's Chiesa, so your argument would be like Chiesa's always injured as well. But my point is, you've still got players like Elliot that can come in and play right wing if required. So we've got more adequate cover for those attacking positions now, whereas in the past we've never had anyone as backup for Salah. That's always been a talking point, especially when he goes to AFCON. So now I feel like we've addressed that. We've got Diaz that can play there. We've got Elliot that can play there. Chiesa can play there. So a lot of players can play in that position. So I feel like we've got more adequate cover for these attacking roles. So even if Jota was back out and got injured, it's not end of the world for me because we've got other players that can um, do a job. And the reason why I want to keep Jota is because I feel like we need to upgrade on Darwin Núñez. So if that's the case, then we've already got a real number 9 in the team, and Jota can, play whenever required, injured or not. I still feel like there will be less reliance on him because we have a number 9 in our team. So that's my thinking. Um, who knows? Who knows? That would be the dream for me, but at this stage, it's pretty early to suggest what will happen. Nick, big up Nick. He says that Tottenham versus Liverpool first half, 4-4. The final is a 2-1. Doesn't make sense. I'm not sure about that. Big up yourself, Nick. Um, Kudus can play all three attacking positions. He can. Kudus value from 80 million has dropped to 50, 60. Okay. So Diaz, yeah, I don't know. I do like Kudus. I don't know if they'll sell him for 50, 60 just because they're not having the best of times. I think they'll try and, because I think that his release clause is active from the summer where it's 85. So I think they'll try and hold out for it because you might have a team like Chelsea that might want to buy someone and they'll be dumb enough to pay that release clause straight away. So if I was them, I wouldn't sell him anytime soon. I'd hold on to him until, a real bid comes in. So 50, 60 is not that much. But if it is available, definitely an option. That's for sure. Steve said Turkey available for 25 million. Leon in financial difficulties. Yep, I know. It's been speculation for the last few weeks. I just don't know if it's a realistic option, if I'm being honest. And Nick says that's funny. Yeah, it definitely caught me out there on that one. Um, Ozzie, who's the biggest threat to FC not winning the title? You'd have to say Chelsea, which is so weird because I probably would have said that a few weeks ago because I feel like Man City have dropped ridiculously. They're a shadow of themselves, and despite what people will tell you, they're not going to pick up form and be challenging for the top honor. That is not happening. It's the gap is too far off now, and they're still on decline. They're still losing games. They're not really gaining a lot of wins right now. So they haven't found their form yet, and during this congested period, it'll be very difficult to do so. Arsenal, I don't know what to make of Arsenal. They're so weird. I call them Arsenal City now because they are like Stoke City the way they play. And I think he's it's funny, Arteta's gone from playing tiki-taka football to long ball, long ball football. Like it's crazy from Pep Guardiola philosophy to Tony Pulis. Mikel Pulis is what I call him as well. So yeah, I don't think he's trying to find that formula just to win games. Whether it's easy on the eye or not, but I still feel like they're quite inconsistent, and I don't feel like the players have completely bought into these new tactics, in my opinion. So Arsenal a bit of a tricky team to kind of analyze and predict right now because you just don't know. They're not like Tottenham level. We don't know what team's going to turn up, but I don't know if that team is capable of stringing consecutive wins. I don't think they are, in my opinion, but they're still going to be in and around. I don't feel like they'll be the strongest contender. I think Chelsea have been playing some of the best football this season, and they're getting stronger, and they've got the depth. They don't really have. They've got European football. I know they've got the Europa Conference League, but they don't play. There's strong lineups. They always play like the C team, not even the B team. So um, I, I think the biggest threat into another team would be Chelsea, but the biggest threat is ourselves. We got to make sure that we're on top of our game. We're making sure that we're winning games, and we're not giving away silly results here and there. So that's to be our own threat, which sounds a bit silly, but I feel like we've got to do our job. Forget everyone else. Do our job. Take a game at a time. Win as many games as possible, and then we'll see where we stand at the end of the season. Right now, we're dropping points, which is a concern. It's draws, but for me, draws feel like losses. I don't know about you. That's how it feels for me. So I feel like we gotta make sure we gain that momentum again and keep the ball rolling. Because 21st of December right now, we're gonna hit through periods where we're playing every 2, 3 days. So we've definitely got to make sure we're picking up 3 points on a regular basis. Steve says, why ain't Trent, Van Dijk, Salah got new deals from FSG? Honestly, Steve, I have no idea. And you hear different information every day on social media. You'll hear they're close. You'll hear that someone's been seduced by another club. One is only getting 1 year extension instead of two. I don't know in terms of what it is. I have an inkling. I'm not trying to like be funny or anything, but the Van Dijk deal when we first signed him was announced on Christmas Day. I have a feeling we're going to have a similar announcement for his contract extension. That's my prediction. I think Virgil's contract extension will be presented on Christmas Day. That's my prediction there. I don't know if it's gonna happen. If it does, then feel free to drop me a message and be like, "Oh, Ozzy got that one right." But it just kind of aligns with what's going on. And I feel like we don't know what's happening behind the closed doors, so we'll see. I really hope there is being progress made there. I can't say with chest, but then I can't always say that. I can't say that nothing's being made because I have no idea. So as fans, all we can do is just take a seat and hopefully something happens. Right now, don't know. I don't know what else to say on that one. Steve says play Jota regularly gets injured, limited game time off the bench, still gets injured, sell him. Fair enough. That's your opinion. I think he's a fantastic striker. I feel like it's very hard to sign a player that will be told he'll be a bench player, if that makes sense. When you've already got an existing player like Jota, I think you might as well use him in that position. But it'll be interesting because let's just paint a scenario where he is given a chance to play through the middle and he absolutely cooked or he's like banging in the goals. Maybe you'll be like, "Do you know what? So Jota and Chiesa can be the backup striker. But then Chiesa's not got a better record than Jota in terms of injuries anyway. So yeah, it's I think we'll probably assess it a bit more towards the end of the season. That's where we'll have a clear picture. But I wouldn't sell Jota. That's just my opinion. Nick says if they haven't got new deals from FSG, it must come from PSG. Yeah. The Salah one, that was a rumor that was circling with PSG showing a lot of interest, and that was a concern. I don't know what the Salah situation is because if he was to leave, people just assume he's going to go to Saudi. He wouldn't go to Saudi. I think that would be his last move. For him, in his eyes, he probably sees it as a retirement home because you're getting players that are just going there as the last paycheck. He's not quite ready for that yet. So PSG would be an option. I don't see him going to Real Madrid, but also I doubt because they've got Lamine Yamal, who's the next guy up. Uh, Italy, would he go? He might go back to Italy, but who would sign him there? So I don't know. I really hope we get Salah's deal done. It's a must. Steve says Jota a bulldozer player, not a number 9, not a killer striker. He's a killer finisher though. Better than any finisher in our team. I think that he's the best finisher we have. So might not be everyone's typical number 9 in their mind, but I feel like he's the striker. He's the goal scorer. He's the killer in front of goal in comparison to Darwin Núñez, anyone else. So I rate Jota very highly. So I know probably some fans don't, but I like him a lot. Steve Cruz got banned early this season. Yeah, I remember he got into a fight with a couple of people, didn't he? Yeah, that was a bit of a mad one. Value's dropped and his form has also has his price. I can't sign players if they're dropping off. That doesn't work for me. But let's see. I do like Kuz. I liked Kuz's before he even went to West Ham. I think I even made it. I made content about this a couple of years ago. That he would be a fantastic signing for us as a backup for Salah. But that was the Ajax. We could have got him for 40 million. So I don't know. FSG always doing things the hard way. Nick says by current form, Chelsea are the biggest threat. Yeah, I would. That would be on what I think as well. Whether they're able to maintain it is another story, but right now they're going through teams left, right, and center. So yeah, definitely agree with you on that one, Nick. Steve said biggest threat to Liverpool not winning the title is drum roll. FSG again. Zero quality players signed in Jan when they are needed. I said Liverpool, but I was thinking more of a playing outlook. But yeah, uh, yeah, you could say that lack of ambition and using our money to sign quality players to add to what we currently have. Yeah, it could be, but yeah, I just don't want to think about FSG too much because I have very low expectations of what they bring to the table. So I don't want it to be where our season is reflected because they didn't back us up. Like we've got a good squad right now. For us, it's trying to make sure we stay fit. We don't have too many huge injuries. Hopefully have a bit of luck on that side when it comes to keeping everyone fit. And hopefully we can, go all guns blazing, go for the major honors in all competitions right now. So it's definitely a possibility that we can. Steve says you use the money from Jota sales to sign Isak or Vlahovic, but that's just one striker for two positions there. So for me, we need another striker. So got to find another one. You comparing Jota finisher to Nunez to say Jota's a better finisher, that's like a fiesta. Yeah, I had to say it out loud because some people, they still rate Nunez in terms of finishing, which is crazy to me. But obviously, I'm just a person with one opinion. But yeah, I know. Fiesta's a bit harsh as well. Dara said earlier on he's like a championship level player. You're calling him Fiesta. Yeah, I feel like you. That been a bit harsh. For me, I just don't seem fit to be a Liverpool striker, but I wouldn't go that far. But yeah, big up yourselves for the comments anyway. But that is it for today, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for the engagement as always. Let's go through some comments. So big up to Football with Ends, big up to Abdul, big up to Dasso, big up to Steve, big up to Dara, big up to Red Skull, big up to Nick, big up to Eddie's Football Waffle, big up to Anfield Uncle Rods. So yeah, big up to all you guys. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for making it a very engaging show. We've done over an hour and 22 minutes there. So yeah, big up yourself, guys, as always. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. In terms of upcoming content, we will be doing a live watch along for this fixture. Is it a 4 o'clock fixture or is it a 4:30 fixture? Let me just check the time slot. So let's have a look. So it is a 4:30 fixture. So I will be live from 4:20 p.m. UK time. We can quickly have a look through the lineup, discuss how we think our team's going to set up, but also how the opposition will set up, and yeah, we can watch the game. Feel free to drop your comments um, during the game as well whilst we do the watch along, and then we'll do a match reaction show later in the evening. Time to be confirmed. So the best thing to do is hit that notification bell so you know what time the streams are going live. And also follow me on social media for all the latest updates. You can follow me at Ozzie.ftp on Instagram. You can also follow me at Ozzie_FTP on X/Twitter. So that is it for tonight, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Uh, Hold on, we just got a couple of comments here. Steve says, are we in a strong position in the league and in Champions League? Yes, then we need to strengthen from a position of strength. 100%. But unfortunately, FSG don't roll like that. They'll look at us where you've got a squad. You guys are number one here. You guys are number one there. You're still in these competitions. Why do you need more players? Do don't disrupt the harmony. Let's keep it going, and then we'll have that discussion in summer. That would be their point of view. So you're right. You're not wrong in terms of when you're in a position where you're really strong, but you have the option, you have a window to strengthen even further. You're guaranteeing success there, right? But that's not how FSG do things. So yeah, who knows? Who knows? Hopefully they'll see the light, whether they do or not. Only time will tell. But yeah, big up yourself, Steve, for the last comment there. And that is it, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Take care, stay safe, and I hope to see you all on Sunday. Goodbye.